I could see a coffee house and like podcast studio meeting space.
Yeah, it has like booths and everything, and has all the stuff.
Like I could see that.
Bars.
I could see it being several podcast studio cells or just meeting rooms. So like you'd put data in there.
I wonder why it hasn't been bought up by something. It's just sitting there. It's been sitting there for like 6-7 years. Yeah.
Applebee's.
Yeah, the Applebee's. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
It's what is called a Statue of Liberty location.
Mm.
Everybody can see it.
But nobody wants to.
Nobody can get it to it.
Yeah. It is a bad location. It is. It's right there on the edge of north of town that probably thought it was going to grow that way, but it's not.
Yeah.
Not as fast as they probably expected or were hopeful for.
We had a restaurant growing up in our hometown that you would drive by it, and once a year, closed. And then 2 months later, open with a new venture. Started with Simple Simon's Pizza, and then it moved into like a Cajun crawfish place. I'm not kidding. It probably over the span of 10 years, there were 10 restaurants there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's
Is Simple Simon's a chain?
Yeah.
It is?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
You're recording, aren't you?
Yeah, of course I'm recording. I didn't think it was a chain, but I guess it is.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Simple Simon's Coffee.
Simple Simon's. There's one downtown. Simple Simon's downtown. There was at least.
Not anymore.
Yeah, that's what Kendall showed me about the several of the restaurant locations in town. Is that they're Statue of Liberty locations? Everybody can see them. Nobody can get to it.
Nobody can get to it.
I want to turn that abandoned Best Buy into a pickleball facility.
I already
That'd
had
be
my
cool,
eye on
actually. Yeah.
I wanted
Before it turns into a Halloween spirit.
it can be a Spirit Halloween. That's just seasonal.
Oh, sorry, Spirit Halloween.
I wanted that Best Buy building to be a theater.
Oh, that would be cool. That would be really cool. That's a
Uh,
good central place, too.
And it would be
Well, isn't there a theater right next door?
not a movie theater, like a
Oh.
stage theater. Because none of the high schools, this is just, you've hit my nonprofit spiel now, but like none of the high schools have their own designated theater spaces. They all have auditoriums, but they have to share them.
Mm-hmm.
So when they run up a production, they all have varying pros and cons to all of their individual facilities.
Right.
And so, like, one will have flies, but the other has wings, but then the other doesn't have a pit and that kind of stuff. Actually, none of them have a pit. So for the students to have, like on the football field, like we're not playing on grass anymore, right?
Right.
We've already invested in the newest turf with artificial
Grass
this
was totally last century.
Yeah.
No one wants that.
and so we're still in the 1960s with our theatrical technology.
Really?
Yeah. So we're talking 60, 70 years. And so we've got decades worth of student crop that have come through to grow up in this sort of non-fertile ground, in the arts.
I do feel like West Texas is the last place in which theater is updated.
Yeah.
It's like
I mean, there's 300,000
the
people.
coast. It's kind of like the Wild West. Everything just slowly.
And it's worse in cities that are smaller than Lubbock, like Seminole. It's worse.
I imagine so.
So to have a centrally located, and this is my dream, 450 seats, probably 300 on the ground and 150 in a balcony, and then have a large back. So like if you look at the opera houses of Europe, the audience takes up a certain square footage. The stage will take up 6 times as much square footage because you have to have actual wings where you would take the set and you would move it into the wing. And so how you do an opera is you build Act 1 on this stage in the wing. And then you build Act 2 on this stage. And then you build Act 3. In the Vienna Opera House, they have a basement. So they build Act 4 on this one, and then they drop it into the basement and move Act 1 over. And so then they are able to move the stages like that. Not saying that we need that here, but just to have the square footage to be able to park stuff. That way you can have things working repeatedly. So that would be a flex space that you could have for live performance. That's not on the scale of the 20-something, 2,200 seat Buddy Holly Hall or the 1,300 seat Civic Center. So a nice 450 seat, really elegant, really comfortable. Lots of parking in that space. Like, I could just see Best Buy working really well for that.
That would
That's
be cool.
interesting. I like
But-
hearing about people's dreams. That also sounds like the plot of the movie Sing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Like straight up.
Yeah.
The first one.
The
right?
first one, number
Yeah.
one, yeah. Yep.
Mm.
That is strong.
But I like hearing people's dreams, especially when their dream, I'll tell them, look, what do you want to do? Like, if you could do anything right now, the rest of your life, and they tell me, and it's something they could be doing by the end of the year, why aren't you doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that. If that's what you want to do, that's your dream. You won't want to do anything else. Why aren't you doing that thing? If it's feasible. Like, if it's, sometimes it's out there. Someone's like, I want to be president of the United States. Yeah, okay. But then sometimes it's like totally doable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but, people are afraid to lose money and all that stuff, which is real thing,
Well, I would just say that if this space was up for grabs, the design of all of this could very easily go into a mobile, like this isn't a big deal. I mean, it is because we'd have to change something, but all of this is designed to be put on wheels, and they would stack, so we'd have to unfold it every time we wanted to record. But
I think we should have a pickleball episode.
I'm okay with that. I am not good at sports.
We can have you 2 commenting, and then 2 guys playing pickleball, and then we'll switch it out.
The reason why I stay
Caleb's
courtside,
corner on the court.
the entire episode is just tuk, 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 tuk.
We'll
Did you
try to-
see that?
We'll try to read scripture while we play. Well, Thanksgiving
Because I have to win.
is coming up. Do y'all have any Thanksgiving traditions?
Yeah, I do actually have a Thanksgiving tradition. You first, though.
Me or
Yeah.
Justin?
Whoever, it doesn't matter.
Oh. I'll go. We don't really have many traditions. We'll flip-flop families depending on the year. So this year is Smith Thanksgiving, and then we'll go to my hometown for Christmas. And I'm going to wait for George to finish
Can you open that?
playing with a plastic bin.
Sorry, I wait till Caleb speaks, and then I start.
Biscotti. What about your traditions?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't think it'd be that loud, and then I was like, I had to commit.
You started, so you couldn't turn around. But now George has his coffee chocolate dunkers, and all is right with the world.
I'm happy now. I can now listen.
Besides the family flip-flop thing, we're pretty we don't do anything crazy for Thanksgiving. Christmas, we have all kinds of crazy stuff, but Thanksgiving, we'll make a meal, share a meal together, and that's pretty much it. Last year when I went to my family in East Texas, we did a turkey trot, but that's not a tradition. We don't always do a turkey trot, so we did it the last year, but that's
Yeah,
it.
I'm doing one this year. I signed up for one, so it should be fun.
The Lubbock one?
No, we're going to
Oh, you're,
water.
yeah, duh.
Yeah,
Forgot.
I didn't know there was one in Lubbock though.
Mm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's in McKenzie Park.
Yeah.
Mm.
I've sung the national anthem there a couple times.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, every year I have Macy Day's parade is going on, and we're usually cooking something last minute, getting ready, and I just see these runners walk past my window every year. I'm like, what is going on? Oh, it's a turkey trot, right? And then this year I was like, you know what? To make myself feel better about eating so much, I mean, I do like to run. Maybe I should do that. So I did. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, you guys want to do it with me? Because I'm looking for someone.
No.
Okay.
I mean, with
we'll
love.
talk.
No.
Your turn, Justin.
No. My friend Debbie has been trying to get me to do that. And I know Lance does it. Lance and his family does it because I see them at the turkey trot in Lubbock.
Mm.
So they do that. You should do it with Lance.
Yeah, I didn't think about doing it with Lance in Lubbock. I just was thinking shallow water.
Mm.
Anyway, next year maybe.
We had to, so for when you get married, I think I've been reflecting on this actually recently because we're doing Thanksgiving a little differently this year. This is my 12th year to be married. And basically, I think for the first decade, it was trading families. Like, we go to my family, and then we go to your family. And then it almost, if you think about it in retrospect, it's because our parent units are still alive and we still, go home to see family, and it's a time to get together, and all of those things are great. Time to give thanks, time to eat too much, etc. Time to be stressed, talk about politics.
Time to laugh. Time for war.
Yeah, I mean, or it's like you watch
Board games.
That's whenever
Dun.
that's whenever you sort of make those big memories. It's like, oh, remember that one time that we played that one game, or whatever. What did I do?
No, I'm sorry. I'm remembering. You literally said, "Remember that one time that we played that one game?" Well, I've got.
That's what I'm saying.
Where we nearly flipped a table.
That's what I'm saying. It's like that's how that works, right? And so there's these moments where life just happens, and that's one of the good times to bring together. So this year we're actually going on a family trip. We're going to go to Branson, Missouri.
Hey,
And
that'll be fun.
I grew up going there every year. That's where we went to vacation. And so just sort of like, you know what? My son's 12 and I want to take him to Silver City, and I want to take him to the Marble Cave. It's my favorite place ever. And before I went to college, I was actually, what do you want to do when you graduate? I really wanted to go up to Branson and be a cave tour guide. I just love that cave. Yeah, It's just a great experience. And I had done the tours enough times. Sometimes my brother and I would go 2 or 3 times in the cave. I've been on that cave tour probably 30 times in my life. And it was always neat to see the same spiel with different groups of people. And so then you'd get a really great tour guide that was sort of, wow, I didn't know half that stuff, and this is my 20th time to be in the cave. And then you would get some, it's like, well, that was good, but not as good as that other one, And so that was me seeing the repetitions of performance. That's one of the reasons why I think I did performing arts, is because you get to see how you speak to a group of people. So it's almost like this practiced tour.
Yeah.
So it's been 20 years since I've been there, but I remember it very vividly. So I want to share that with my son, and that's one of the reasons, the impetus of going to Silver City and Branson. It's changed a lot, I know. We're doing a family vacation there. So.
Have you seen Esther? The show?
The what?
The show? Esther?
What you were talking about with the guy being...
Yes.
Was that in Branson?
Yes.
Was that in Silver City?
It's not in Silver Dollar City.
Oh,
but
so it's in Branson.
close to it, yeah. You have got to go see that and then come back and report.
I don't think that's on the docket, but...
Your son would probably really enjoy it, too.
Rose wants to break up the drive, so we're going to drive sort of like a midway point in Oklahoma. We found, we've been to the Oklahoma City Zoo, which is really good. So we were going to do that as probably one of the day events. And then the planetarium in Tulsa is sort of on the way. Have you ever been to Lambert's Cafe in Springfield?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever been?
They throw rolls at your face.
Yeah.
No.
It's the home of the
feeling really
faux
left out
rolls.
right now.
Well, once again, I haven't been there in 20 years, so I'm just glad that it's still there. But imagine Cracker Barrel, but they throw rolls at you.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's delightful.
The best.
So it's in Springfield, Missouri. There's other places where they are in Mississippi and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a great little day trip to go to Springfield. But we're going to catch it on the way in. So typically when you're driving up from East Texas, you go sort of through Oklahoma or through the Ozarks and Arkansas.
Anyway. That's cool, man. That's really cool.
So that's what we're going to do, and my parents are going to join us. So, but then we're actually going to come back to Lubbock by Thanksgiving Day. And so we're just going to have Thanksgiving with the 4 of us, which that's the first time we've ever done it. So
really?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is we've changed it up a little bit.
Do you make, so if it's just the 4 of you, you make something, or you go to pay away?
No, I think we'll have a dinner.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
But it might not be the traditional turkey, but we don't know. Maybe we'll talk about it.
Nice.
I like it. I have not experienced cave life. I've always wanted to. They say Carlsbad, really good caves, and
I want to go to Carlsbad. I've never been.
I haven't done any caves. Yeah.
I'm a mountain person. Like you were saying, you're a beach guy.
I like the beach.
Yeah, I like the mountains.
Yeah. But the mountains are good. We're going to mountains next week. So
where are you going?
Should be good. We're going to Colorado.
Where in
and
Colorado?
I'm working on it, bro.
Oh, okay.
I honestly don't know. Because Paige sets this all up, and she's like, we're doing this, this, and this. And I'm like, okay, sounds great. But yeah, apparently we're taking a train ride up there into the mountains.
Are you
Taking a
doing?
train?
Do you know what it's called? Is it the?
No, but I've heard Durango, and I've heard, all that stuff.
I haven't done it, but it's on our list.
That sounds
Okay.
amazing.
That'll be
A
fun.
train
So,
ride.
it's supposed to be all decked up in Christmas stuff, for the girls. The girls should love it.
Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
You should do that,
little,
Keith.
Do you need a friend?
I do.
I'm sure tickets are available.
Show up at the train and Paige is like, "Is that Caleb? Why is Caleb here?"
I got another seat.
Surprise!
That suitcase is so large. Why does it keep moving?
A stowaway.
Get out the stretch. So do you park your car, get on the train, and drive?
I have no
Or, I mean,
idea.
and get on the.
I'll have to tell you when I find out.
I don't know what those.
I have
words mean.
no idea. I don't know if it's like a station or if it's like you park your car.
Is it a loop, or does it go point A to point B, and then you stay in like a hotel, and then you get point B to point A, and you get back in your car?
I don't know.
That would be cool.
I don't know.
It goes up and back down.
I think that's
Oh, so
right.
it's like a loop.
I think it comes back, and then we're supposed to be able to go back to our
That's great.
place. So yeah, works out. And then we'll be back Thursday, and we'll have Thanksgiving with my family and Happy.
I always love trains.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. So that should be fun. It's also my birthday on Thanksgiving this year. So that's cool.
Well,
Yeah.
happy early birthday.
Thank you. It's the best. I love it. I love it so much.
Everybody gets together and celebrates your birthday with a feast.
Yes, exactly. It's family's all there. Food is all there.
Have you stopped at that honey place that's in Canyon? I can't remember what farm it is.
I don't know.
It's like when they first started it, it was like a shack, and they were sort of beekeepers that sold honey, and then it has turned into
The honey
it's
place.
It's a compound now. It's got 5 or 6 buildings,
cool.
and
Really?
yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
So you take the exit like you're going to go to Paladura Canyon,
Yeah.
but you go toward WT,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's right there on the right.
Really?
Yeah.
We used to take that exit all the time headed home because we lived on the east side of Amarillo. So you take that street all the way down.
They have a spicy honey, like it's
Really?
very like a jalapeno honey that they've sort of like a sauce that they've made. It's very good. I would recommend it.
I'm always looking for local honey.
Well, when you go, you go to Happy. If you keep going to go to Colorado, if you're going to go through Amarillo, just pull off at that. It's not Cemetery Road. It's the one past that, and it's
One, yeah.
You go to Paladura or you go to WT. Anyway, my
Cemetery
brother-in-law
Road,
lives.
man. I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Every week. Yeah, so that's that. We're kind of worried, this is snow. I hope it's not going to snow. I want it to snow because we haven't experienced snow, but like we have a Toyota Camry. So
The roads should be clear though. Like they plow the roads. up
yeah, they
there.
do a better job of taking care of the roads than we do. So it should be good. But yeah. So anyway, that's all.
I think if the climate changed to where there was always snow, like we were experiencing snow for more than 5 days at a time, which I don't think I've ever experienced snow more than 2 days at a time.
Really?
In
You haven't?
Northwest Texas, yeah. Like I think in the
I
10
think
years
that's
that I've lived
probably
in West
right.
Texas.
Yeah.
I think it does snow and it does ice, but the worst ice that I've seen is actually back home. I was snowed into my office when I was a sabbatical replacement at Austin College. It actually came a rain and then it froze. And so there was like 1.5 inches of ice over all of North Texas.
Huh.
And I tried to. I got in my truck and I tried to drive to my house up in Denison, and I was slipping and sliding. And yeah, that. Literally just no traction. And just, I don't want to do that. So I limped back to the parking lot where my parking space was, and I went back to my office, and I slept in my office for 3 days.
Wow.
It was the worst.
For 3 days?
Yeah.
Come out there. Beard. And
Well, I had how it was at the time is I had a master key, so I had access to other offices, and the guy I was replacing, I never went in his office, but he had a futon. So I utilized the futon to sleep in there. But yeah, I was managing a nonprofit, so it allowed me. We actually had to cancel our big fundraiser with the symphony because it was that night, and so the symphony couldn't play. We canceled it. We didn't get our big fundraiser event. It was a nightmare.
Oh, that's sorry.
Anyway, so that was the worst ice I've seen. But out in West Texas, it snows and then it melts the next day. It's-
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, I don't know why I did down that rabbit hole, but yeah, if it snowed and if the snow was on the ground longer, I'm sure that we would invest in trucks that would plow.
I'm sure.
I mean, I know that we have plows here, but anyway.
Yeah, our plows is basically a plow on the end of the front of a truck.
Yeah.
Like literally a dually.
Yeah. And I've seen other people like that who are just sort of they're good Samaritans. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And they put a little light on their car and they just drive and plow the road. That's fun.
This was for
I would love it.
You would.
I would do it.
That would be your hobby.
Oh yeah.
It's like, this is my day. You get your little thermos of coffee.
Yes. Let's go.
That's some of the worst conditions driving is
Yeah.
if it's raining and freezing on your windshield.
Yep.
And like that's the worst because then you have to have the heater on high enough that the ice is melting on your windshield, but that you're not boiling sweat. That way, if you have to get out, you get frostbite. Anyway,
Oh wow, frostbite.
West Texas is great.
How do we tie all this?
Tie it back to
we're
Jesus.
kind of
We're spiraling.
a warm-up episode for sure.
Being thankful, I think, is what we were talking about. It's like it's great to be around friends and be around family and make good memories. Do you want to share your game story?
Oh man, there's just one that stands out in my mind. I don't actually even remember the game now. I just remember that it was the first year my sister had been married to her now husband, and he came on our first Christmas together, and we went to Colorado and played a game together, and I don't know what he did to me, but he made me so mad that like I didn't talk to him for almost a week after that.
Whoa.
And afterwards, like hindsight, looking back on it, and obviously got over it, and we're fine now for the most part. No, I'm just kidding. But it was so dumb. Like my family loves board games. That is all we do when we get together for Christmas or Thanksgiving. It's changed a little bit over the years now that there's like 18,000 nieces and nephews that run around screaming all the time. So we don't play as many games. But when we do, it's still super competitive, and it's because of my dad. So Dad, if you're listening to this, it's thanks to you.
Set the tone, Dad.
When we were growing up, he would play the game to play the game, and he was very competitive. So if he destroyed us in Absolution, he would destroy us, which happened the majority of the time. I remember there were times that I would cry after I was done playing a game because Dad would just, win the game. And so now I think that competitive spirit comes out in me a little bit with that and some other things too. I'm not crazy competitive, but when it comes to a board game, Julie's like, you become a different person. And I've gotten better. I used to be really bad about like being competitive and like actually getting legitimately frustrated over a board game. And so there's still times I have to like check myself, like it's just a game. It's just a game.
Board game addict.
They took your sheep, but it's fine, and you're gonna get more ore. It's gonna be fine.
I love Catan. Catan brings that out in people.
Yeah.
Was it Catan? Y'all were playing Catan?
It might have been Catan. I don't know. Catan. We even had the board game before Catan that people think that I'm making this up, but we had Settlers of Canaan. It's actually a game before Catan came out, and we would play it. And you don't make the board. It's literally an actual board. It doesn't change. So when I tell people that, they're like, what? No way. But we'll play it.
I just remember when Settlers of Catan, I was introduced to it in high school. It was my best friend and then a couple of people that I was acquainted with. We went to their house and just I loved this board game.
It's so fun.
And so I'm like, hey, let's are we gonna stay up all night and play this? Like it's just like a sleepover and we'll just keep playing this till we get too tired and we'll go to sleep. And everyone's like, yeah, let's do it. So I was like, okay. And I called my dad. I'm like, hey, don't pick me up. We're gonna sit here and play this game all night. And he was like, okay. And then everybody left.
No, sad day.
And then nothing against the guy, but I just didn't really know him. And so then now I'm having a sleepover at a guy that I basically don't really know. My best friend left, and I'm like, okay. And then I always wake up really early in the morning. And so there are other people who don't wake up really early in the morning. So there's this nice 4-hour gap where, like, I'm just in this random person's house, and I don't have any rapport with the parents, and it was like
Good morning.
it was the worst. And so I actually there was
Do you like your eggs scrambled or over easy?
and that's fine if there was some type of like, oh, good, there's another human being awake in the house. No.
Just you roaming around the stranger's house.
Well, I didn't even do that. I just sort of like sat in the chair for hours. Like I didn't have a phone.
Everything's fine.
This is
Everything's
before.
fine.
This is before a cell phone. This is before the internet. So it was just sort of like in somebody's house, and then like, oh, here's a magazine. Okay, that was 15 minutes. What's to do?
Thank
Anyway.
you, settlers of Catan.
So that was my first cell experience.
What an experience.
Oh man.
Well,
It's dangerous.
going back to thankfulness, I don't know. It's been a good year so far, and we're wrapping things up. We're about to meet to kind of talk a little bit about the podcast. But if you're listening or watching, we appreciate you
Yeah.
because we've gotten some good feedback recently, and we always want more feedback, the good, the bad, the ugly. If you like it, if you don't, we want to know about it. So it's been
Yep.
a good year.
We'll be thankful for the good, but not so much for the ugly. But it's fine.
We are thankful for you.
We are. With that, thank you, and go so. If you want to know more about the Bible or you have any questions, our email is in the description below. You can DM us. We'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for a church family or you're in the Lubbock area, we invite you to come visit and hang out with us in Milwaukee. We love for you to find a church who practices the love of Christ.